Now that the holiday shopping season is in full swing, it is time to talk about one of the hottest categories out there, and it's video games. This is the quarter when the game developers make most of their money. I continue to believe that Take-Two Interactive Software, TTWO, is the best of the bunch. You might remember these guys as the company behind Grand Theft Auto, not to mention a bunch of other popular franchises like Red Dead, Max Payne, Borderlands, BioShock, and Evolve, along with a ton of great sports titles that we got to talk about, including NBA 2K. Wow. Now, early last month, Take-Two reported a truly spectacular quarter, just a monster beat on both the top line and the bottom line. Management raising their full-year guidance. What a great conference call. A lot of the strength was driven by the success of NBA 2K16, which sold 4 million copies in its first week. Now the highest rated sports game, highest rated of 2015, probably 2016 too, but that's my view. Plus, the company developed an amazing recurrent consumer spending revenue stream that makes the earnings much less episodic and much more predictable. And they've got a bunch of big titles slated to come out in the first half of next year. At this point, with all these must-have games, anybody who still believes Take-Two is all about Grand Theft Auto and only Grand Theft Auto is simply being obtuse. Stocks rallied 29% this year without a new Grand Theft Auto game. It's given us a terrific 20% gain since we last spoke to the CEO in mid-August. So let's check in with Strauss Zelnick, the chairman and CEO of Take-Two Interactive Software, find out how his company's doing and how the holiday season is going, and just, well, let's find out how great these franchises really are. Mr. Zelnick, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, Strauss. Have a seat.
You too.
You know, Strauss, I'm torn because I want to talk about basketball and how amazing it is. I want to talk about how it's just been, frankly, you have so many hits. But this recurrent consumer spend is something I want to start with, because what it says is it's not episodic anymore. You've got really good high-margin business between launches.
Right. That's probably the most exciting change in the business. So 5 years ago, we went from tentpole release to a quiet period, hopefully to another tentpole release. Today, what we can do is stay engaged with our customers, delight our customers in between releases, and then we can monetize that engagement. That's a higher margin sort of engagement. Obviously, it's all digital distribution. There are very few costs against it. But the best thing about it is that it extends the brands. It keeps them alive. It keeps consumers with us.
I was shocked to see, when you're very modest about the gross margin, when you do the math of, say, the upside surprise or the $364 million that you made, a huge part of it is the gross margin and the revenue that comes from this particular part of your business.
Right. So 40% of our revenue in the last quarter was digitally delivered. Half of that was recurrent consumer spending. And that's basically a brand new business.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. That's why we're not people who trade in and out of it. You're making a mistake. NBA 2K16. What's happened here that this one took off more than the others?
You know, we have a big install base for new gen, and it does seem to be a very reactive install base. So the wind is at our back. It's at our competitors' back as well. Mm-hmm. That's just good for us, and we can't take any credit for that. The truth is, though, our virtual currency sales are up 120% year over year. Again, that reflects this ongoing engagement. That's more recurrent consumer spending. So what we're trying to do is turn it from what was originally a great simulation game into an experience that has story involvement as well. That seems to be expanding the market.
Why are you so conservative about China? Is that because you're basically conservative every time I try to get you to go out there and say something big?
Well, you know, China is a great market for us. Right. We have NBA 2K Online in China. It makes us revenue and profits every month, and it's, if anything, exceeded our expectations. Okay. And we have Civilization Online launching in Korea and in the rest of Asia in the coming months. That's potentially great news. Too early to call it.
You make in your conference calls, you talk a great deal about how you have so many titles that generate more than 5 million units. And I think that also is part of what can come out quarter after quarter. But how is it that you have so many hits?
Well, it's a question all of us would love to answer. We've been fortunate. We've been able to launch one new successful hit every year since we took over the company in 2007. How is it that it happens? We think we're the best creative people in the business.
I was going to say, because you like talent. I mean, I think you have an NFL stable of talent, and somehow you keep them happy.
Well, I think the truth is that we try to create a very rational enterprise where people can pursue their passions, where we have plenty of financial resources, and where we solve problems. We don't create problems, we solve problems. So our goal is to say to our creative folks, look, this is the most congenial home in the business. Come here, do your best work. We truly want people to follow their passions. And occasionally that means certain things don't go specifically our way. For example, we'll slip a title for a couple of months. Right. But when we do that, we seem to get rewarded with the highest quality in the business, which Metacritic says we've had for 6 years.
Right. Now, XCOM, Mafia 3, Battleborn, you actually give them specific dates for that. So yes, you have great confidence that those are going to be a terrific late winter and early spring release.
I feel really good about our upcoming schedule. Battleborn's a new IP. It comes to us from Gearbox. of course, I can't call what will happen, but it feels very, very good. Mafia 3 is obviously another title in the Mafia franchise, which has been very successful. It's set in New Orleans. It looks great.
Okay, last question. Carl spoke, and he said, said, you're always one hit or two hits away from tripling the size of your company. You still believe that, huh? It can be that way, huh?
You know, you'll have to interview Carl. But the good news is, how high is up? Those are questions we don't need to ask. We have the luxury of looking at good results right now.
Well, it's been a terrific run, and it's going to continue. That's Strauss Zelnick, Chairman and CEO of Take-Two Interactive Software. Huge revenue streams, even since we first started talking to Strauss. I love that. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.